Hey everybody, Casey here. So a couple of weeks ago, Michael did a column about how he happened to be serving as an usher at a high school graduation at this art center where he and his wife work, and he actually got a column out of the commencement speech that was given by one of the people on the stage. And it was all about how Bison actually, when they see a storm coming, they run towards the storm. The regular cows run away from the storm. It's actually smarter to run to the storm, right? Great business lesson. Always run towards your problems. Don't run away from them. I was thinking about this because the other night I was watching our local high school graduation. Mrs. Content Guy and I were sitting down having dinner, and she taught a bunch of those kids in elementary school. So she was curious about their high school graduation. So what the hell? We decided to watch watch it on YouTube. This is what our lives have come to at this point. The kids are all gone. We're now watching high school graduations for kids that are not ours on YouTube while having dinner. Anyway, she had a great time. That's all that's really important. Anyway, it was interesting. There were a couple of speeches given by adults. And they were okay. I have to be honest. They're not so great. There was one guy who gave up and gave a speech, and all he did was talk about all the speeches he's given in his life. And I'm listening to him going, well, not so much, or not so good. I mean, come on, man, get to your point. But then the high school valedictorian stood up, and she gave a very brief speech, but she had this great metaphor. She said that she had just gotten these kittens, right? And the kittens keep looking out the window at the trees they want to scale. But when they're kittens, when they fall, sometimes they fall on their backs, right? Sometimes they fall on their stomachs. Sometimes they fall on their sides or their heads. Occasionally, they'll actually fall on their paws. But even when they fall on their paws, they tend to trip over themselves because they're kittens. And her message is that we are like kittens as we go out in the world, right? We're not always going to fall the way we're supposed to fall. And even when we do, we're going to trip over ourselves. But that's okay. That's part of the act of learning. That's part of the act of maturing. And we have to embrace that as opposed to resist it. And that was such a great message for lots of reasons. First of all, the metaphor works great, right? The metaphor is absolutely terrific. I'm watching and thinking to myself, oh man, I wish I'd thought of that. But the other thing is she had a story, right? She had a core story. She wasn't all over the place. She built out from that metaphor as she told her story. And that's an incredibly important thing to do. When I talk to young people who are out there looking for jobs, right? One of the things I say to them is you got to have your story. You got to have a story that differentiates you from everybody else who's applying for that job. And that will make you come to the top of the pile of resumes, help you come to the top of the people who are looking, who are competing with you for that job. And at the same time, when I'm out giving speeches to companies, one of the things I say to them is, you got to have your story. You have to figure out what is that core metaphor? What is that core story that you have that allows you to communicate in a way to your stakeholders, right? Employees and customers, about what makes you special. If you're a business and you don't have a core story, you don't have a core metaphor, you don't have a core narrative, then you're kind of lost. You're sort of in the middle and you're not making a difference, and you're not communicating effectively about who and what you are, perhaps because you don't know who and what you are. So I have to say, I walked away from watching this YouTube video. I'm thinking of the kittens. I'm thinking of them falling over themselves. And her great message at the end was, we're all kittens, but at some point, we're all going to meet at the top of the tree. I loved it. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.